A large mulch fire breaks out overnight in Woods Cross. News specialist Tyrese Boone live for us on scene with how long people could see the smoke this morning. Plus, caught in the crosshairs. Hear from Utahns sharing their firsthand accounts stuck in violence in Mexico, including one woman sharing her frightening sight from her balcony. And then the numbers are in, and Utahns not loving the 2034 Olympic logo. Learn why critics say it looks less like the Beehive State landscape and more like a prehistoric cartoon.
Live and streaming, this is KSL News Now.
I remember when that reaction came out, nobody loved the logo. Thanks for joining us on KSL News Now. I'm Brian Carlson, filling in for Lori. We'll get to all of that here in just a minute. We've got Devin filling in for Matt here this morning. And we got a great start to your Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I mean, no complaints. I mean, it feels really nice out there. It is a little cloudy across northern Utah, and it's going to give way to rain and snow today, but then we'll be dry as we head towards the end of the work week. As we are looking at Solitude live camera, it did look like it was snowing a little bit better than it is showing up now. It's definitely a little bit breezy as well, but any kind of the precipitation we have out there is on the lighter side. This is our satellite and radar loop over the last 3 hours, so you can kind of see how that moisture is moving in the upper atmosphere and how it's kind of spread south across at least the Wasatch Range here. Looks like we have a rain and snow mix right along the Utah-Idaho border in Cache Valley. Uncertain if that rain is actually hitting it to the ground, but we know up in the mountains, at least around Beaver Mountain Resort, we saw snow showers on the cameras. Overhead here along the Wasatch Front, we are just overcast. This is not reaching the ground just yet, but by this afternoon, it will do so as we kind of get a second pulse that will come in later today. 53 degrees already in Salt Lake City, 37 in Logan, 44 in Ogden, and then 33 in Cedar City, 40 degrees in St. George. Mostly sunny skies for southern Utah. More active, of course, across northern Utah. We'll kind of time out today and tomorrow's storm and then look ahead to the 7-day forecast coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Devin. We continue to track breaking news out of Woods Cross this morning. Firefighters have been on scene all night trying to get control of a mulch fire here at a local business. News specialist Tyrese Boone live on scene with the progress that they're making so far. So Tyrese, what's the latest out there?
Good morning, Brian. The latest is very simple. This fire is currently now been put out, and it's not a threat to the public, but as you can see, there's still some smoke in the air regarding to this mulch fire. So now let's get into it. So this massive brush fire is currently taking place here at 1550 West, 500 South in Woods Cross, where as you can see, it looks like a mulch pile is where the fire originated from. So about 30 firefighters from the South Davis Metro Fire Department, along with the Farmington and Layton City Fire Departments, have been responding to this fire since 10:30 p.m. in the wee hours in the morning.
It's brutal for these guys. They've been out here since about 10 o'clock at night, and we'll keep working through it until we get the fire extinguished or at least suppressed to the point that we feel comfortable turning it back over to the property owner.
Now, at the moment, there's 6 to 8 vehicles are still in the distance attending to the fire at this time. We see multiple trucks leave the scene to fill up with more water to continue that fight as well. Now, crews will continue to monitor this mulch as it could possibly re-spark, and this smoke could be a problem for anybody in the Woods Cross area. You might have that smoke in your neighborhood for the next few hours. So, reporting live from Woods Cross, Tyrese Boone, KSL 5 News. Back to you, Brian.
Appreciate the update. Thank you, Tyrese. Turning now to other news this morning, the murder trial of Corey Richens, the Utah mother accused of poisoning her husband and then writing a children's book on grief, enters its second day in Summit County. On day one, we heard from the victim's sister.
This is not easy. He was screaming and crying and said, "Eric's not breathing, Eric's not breathing."
Now, Katie Richens Benson, you just heard from, emotional, talking about the day her brother Eric Richens died. The prosecution says Corey Richens killed him to get his money and start her life fresh. They claim she was more than $4.5 million in debt. Meanwhile, Corey's defense team argues she was a loving wife who was being made out as a monster. The trial expected to last 5 weeks. And the search is on for a convicted killer. Right now, the State Board of Pardons and Parole has a warrant out for a Utah man convicted of several serious crimes, including murder, aggravated sexual assault, and fraud. The Federal Bureau of Prisons lists 57-year-old Frank Gene Powell as escaped as of January 16th. Utah's parole board issued a warrant 2 weeks later on January 30th. KSL has reached out to federal investigators about why the public hasn't been alerted before now, but we have not yet heard back. Then a fire at Murray High School is keeping kids out of the classroom. We're told that online learning there will now last for several more weeks. The Murray School District says classes will remain virtual until March 16th, 2 weeks longer than originally announced. The exact cause for Friday's fire remains under investigation, but initial reports show it started inside the high school's wood shop. Crews say the fire involved the dust collection system, which gathers sawdust created during the woodworking classes. And this morning, UDOT warning drivers about nightly road restrictions in Provo Canyon. Travel in the canyon will be down to 1 lane between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. UDOT says a flagger could stop drivers for up to 15 minutes just to alternate the traffic direction. Now, temporary restrictions are part of the Provo Canyon Improvement Project, which will then widen the road to 2 lanes. You can expect these nightly closures now through Saturday. And a temporary boat ramp going up at Lake Powell as water levels continue to drop. Utah's outdoor recreation leaders have struck a deal with the National Park Service to begin construction next month. The plan is to use a concrete block system near the height boat ramp, which can't operate right now because of the water so low. No timeline yet for when the project will be complete. Lake Powell currently at 26% of full capacity and 118 feet below the safe elevation for the height ramp. This morning, millions of people continue to dig out from a powerful snowstorm that slammed the Northeast. Blizzard travel bans remain in effect as 5 states have over 2 feet of snow.
Bottom line, stay off the roads. We're going to have to be patient. This is going to continue, it looks like, for a little while longer.
Now in Massachusetts, Governor Maura Healey issued a travel ban of non-essential cars. She received reports that there were abandoned cars there on the road and citing the need for emergency vehicles to get where they need to go. The storm also dumped record-breaking snow in Rhode Island.
The blizzard of 26 has now officially surpassed the blizzard of 78 for the most snow ever recorded in a single snowstorm in our Rhode Island state history.
Now, parts of Rhode Island have seen 3 feet of snow just from this storm alone. Along with hurricane-force wind gusts, that wet and heavy snow has caused electrical outages throughout that state. So while they're dealing with all of that, it's back to another sunny day here for us here, Devin.
Yeah, it actually will be cloudy, but it's mild though. So we're not dealing with how cold it has been in that area. But we have mostly cloudy skies now, kind of more clouds building in from the north associated with a storm system that'll bring valley rain and mountain snow, of course. This is something we've seen so often this winter. 53 degrees in Salt Lake right now, 44 degrees in Ogden, and 37 degrees in Logan. We're already seeing snow showers in the highest elevations. Light rain, if any, will be making it to the ground in parts kind of closest to the Utah-Idaho border. So Logan warming to near low 40s today. Hopefully, they've been stuck in a cold pool the last couple of days, but they've already started off on a warmer note today. Highs today for Salt Lake will be yet again in the mid-50s. It's pretty much what we saw yesterday and the day before. St. George just a touch warmer in the mid to upper 60s with kind of thin, mostly sunny skies across the southern parts of the state. We will see clouds again across northern Utah with the rain, and we'll kind of time it out further and talk about how much we're tracking with this storm coming up in the full 7-day forecast in just a few moments.
Sounds good. Thank you, Devin. Turning now to Mexico, where unrest continues over a Mexican government operation that killed the cartel kingpin known as El Mencho. The cartel's reaction to the killing turned the streets of various towns into what looked like war zones. Much of the unrest was in tourist hotspots. The operation that killed El Mencho was aided by U.S. intelligence, but suspected crime group members set buses on fire, blocked roads, and clashed with authorities. Some Americans are stranded there amid the violence. Airlines have canceled flights both in and out of Mexico.
It really did look and feel like a war zone, that feeling of what does happen next or what could happen next.
Yesterday was definitely scary. It's like scenes out of a movie.
Now, some airline routes, they continue to be disrupted this morning as other areas return to normal. For now, the U.S. State Department is urging Americans to continue sheltering in place in those areas affected. A Utah woman, one of thousands of tourists stranded in Mexico right now. Stephanie Thornley is waiting for a flight home that has been canceled at least twice. From her balcony there in Puerto Vallarta, she could see smoke, explosions, and hear gunfire. Thornley says misinformation has been everywhere.
They're taking hostages. Don't let them see you. Don't let them know you're American. And that I was terrified at that point.
Now, KSL spoke with Thornley's family, who says they just want her home. She's scheduled for another flight home Saturday, and she's hopeful things will continue to quiet down. And then new details emerging this morning in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Just moments ago, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie released a video saying her family is now offering $1 million to find their mother. Now, as that unfolds, two law enforcement sources say the images of the man seen outside of Guthrie's home could be from 2 different days. The 84-year-old Arizona woman last seen on January 31st. One image released by the FBI shows this masked man approaching Guthrie's door without a backpack on. This difference suggesting the person who disconnected Guthrie's security cameras could have visited her home multiple times before the actual day she disappeared. However, none of the images have timestamps to confirm that. Local and state and federal law enforcement have all spent over 3 weeks searching for Guthrie with no sign of her. And then more fallout from the Epstein files this morning. Celebrity Dr. Peter Attila has now resigned as a contributor at CBS News. This comes after new documents show Attila and the Epstein exchanged crude personal messages with each other. The files show Attila corresponded with Epstein for nearly a decade after he was convicted of child sex abuse in 2008. In a statement, Attila says he was never involved in any wrongdoing, and his resignation is to ensure he's not a distraction for the network. However, many of his fans have lashed out at him for his association with Epstein. And then on to our nation's capital this morning, a group of Senate Democrats unveiled a bill to force the federal government to refund $175 billion in tariff revenue paid by U.S. companies. All this comes after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that President Donald Trump violated federal law when he imposed those sweeping tariffs worldwide, citing emergency economic authority. The Tariff Refund Act of 2026, if passed, would require a full refund with interest of the previous tariffs. Reimbursements would go to small U.S. importers and businesses first, with refunds all processed within 180 days. I want a refund on our winter weather here, Devin. That's what I think we need.
Oh, man, I think everybody is feeling that way. It's just so weird. It's just been such a weird season, and we've had mild storm after mild storm. Yes, last week finally looked like winter, but we are back to that mild pattern yet again. We have very light snow showers falling across our northern mountains right now. This is live at Solitude Mountain Resort. You can see in the Bear River Range, we have some steadier snow showers, perhaps maybe some light rain making it to the ground in Logan as they sit at 37 degrees. It's 44 in Ogden, but low 50s in Salt Lake. You can see some precipitation trying to make it as far south as Spanish Fork now, with temperatures in Utah County in the low 40s. At 42 degrees in Richfield, we kind of have more clearing the further south you go, so kind of mostly sunny once the sun is up across southern Utah. St. George sitting at 40 degrees. We have this mild air moving into the western United States, and it's also coming with some moisture with it, and that's why we're tracking a pretty nice storm to come through here to bring some decent rainfall totals, at least for the Wasatch Front or northern valleys. So as we plan out storm zone for the rest of the day here into tomorrow, you can kind of see precipitation just kind of bounces across northern Utah. For the Salt Lake Valley, we might not get rain showers to fully make it to the ground until the afternoon into the evening. You can see once the evening comes, the precipitation really becomes more widespread and slides into central Utah. And you can even see these yellows, so heavy at times. Also, snow levels will be climbing as the day goes on. So highest elevations are say 8,000 to 9,000 feet is where most of our snow accumulations will fall. By tomorrow morning, it's a lot more broken, not as widespread. So throughout the day tomorrow, kind of keep the chance for some isolated showers across northern Utah. But if anything, it's looking at least a little bit more dry than it was going into today. 4 to 8 inches for our northern mountains. Again, high elevation snow, up to 12 inches in the Cottonwood Canyons, and up to 14 inches for the Bear River Range and the Uinta Mountains. For our rainfall here, about 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch across our northern valleys, up to an inch in some isolated spots in the higher elevations like the benches. And then as you get into central Utah, just generally around 1/10 of an inch. Temperatures very mild today, upper 50s and low 60s across central Utah. Again, rain showers possible later on this evening as far south as Richfield, but again, not expecting a ton of accumulation as it punches into central Utah. Upper 50s, low 60s for Beaver, Cedar City, Moab, 57 the high in Panguitch and 63 in Kanab. St. George, upper 60s and then low to mid 70s for the rest of the 7-day forecast. All red numbers, meaning that's more than 10 degrees warmer than normal with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. 44 in Logan, 47 the high in Tremont, mid 50s in West Valley and Roosevelt. The Wasatch Front again will have rain showers developing through this afternoon, continuing into tomorrow morning. And a majority of our accumulations here, quarter to 3/4 of an inch, will come overnight into tomorrow morning. 57 the high on Wednesday. We fall slightly to 54 on Thursday with mostly sunny, partly sunny skies. And then staying mild, highs in the low 60s Friday through the weekend, and watching the potential for another storm Sunday into Monday.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you much, Devin. The FDA now proposing a new path to approve treatment for extremely rare diseases. Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. says this new guidance for this path would cut red tape and allow for treatments and therapies to be more accessible. As it currently stands, in the case of rare diseases, that red tape consists of the trials necessary to approve treatments. With such a small population affected by the diseases, those trials are hard to come by. The path is geared toward genome editing and RNA-based therapies, but could potentially be used for other treatments in the future. In the ongoing lawsuit against Meta, newly released documents have now led to questions on whether or not specific Facebook features are contributing to addictive behaviors. According to the documents, employees of Facebook raised concern over certain design features as far back as 2018. Employees noted that the public was growing concerned that the tech companies were intentionally manipulating users with features like autoplay and the continuous scroll. The concerned parties proposed an audit, but the company did not perform one, but stated there was other research done that led to safeguards like parental controls and teen safety settings. Then in consumer news, amid geopolitical tensions, Bitcoin is seeing a dramatic decline in value. CNBC says the value plunged to less than $63,000 on Monday, citing President Trump's talks of launching an airstrike on Iran as the cause for many selling off the cryptocurrency in an attempt to reduce the risk. Bitcoin is the world's largest cryptocurrency and has seen a 27% decline this year. It is down 50% from its value of $125,000 last October. And prices are on the decline at Tesla, specifically its Cybertruck. A new promotion taking $20,000 off the current price tag. Tesla CEO Elon Musk announced the limited time offer on social media, saying it was good for just 10 days. The discount, more than 25%, with the new starting price just under $60,000. With this discount, the fully electric pickup truck now less expensive than its rival truck, the Chevy Silverado EV. Now here in Utah, our Olympic Global for 2034 getting a thumbs down from people both in and out of the state. According to a recent Deseret News survey, nearly 60% of Utahns don't like the design, with just over a third approved. Nationally, the numbers are kind of split, 50% disapprove. The results come after many complaints have been posed on social media over the logo, which is supposed to reflect Utah's landscape and history. Critics say it actually looks more like a Flintstones vibe. The good news, well, is it won't be the official logo for the Games. Olympic officials say they'll release a new overall brand identity for the Winter Olympics in about 3 years. And then this morning, Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn finally out of the hospital. In an Instagram video, she says there was an underlying condition that made things complicated and credits her doctor for saving her leg.
And the reason why it was so complex was because I had compartment syndrome. And compartment syndrome is when you have so much trauma to one area of your body that there's too much blood and it gets stuck. And it basically crushes everything in the compartment.
I'm glad they found it. Now, Vonn goes on to say she had the condition had it not been identified and corrected with surgery. Doctors may have had to amputate her leg. Dr. Tom Hackett traveled to Italy with Vonn because she was already skiing with a torn ACL in her knee. Vonn's still immobile, and her bone fractures will likely take a year to heal. But for now, she says she's focusing on rehab. Glad she doesn't have to sacrifice her leg. Now, some of our hometown Olympians, including one gold medalist, they're all now back in Utah. Our crew got to meet them there at the airport for the big welcome home. But they had some mixed reactions.
I'm just ready to sleep in my own bed.
You got 1,000 more days to go. Yeah. For the next one, you got to be as prepared as possible.
Yep, Stacy Gaskell competes in the snowboard cross, and was out for much of last year with a torn ACL herself, but her mom tells us she's so happy that Stacy got to experience everything there in Italy. Connor Curran, he won a gold medal there in Milan and his ski aerial team, and says even though he'll be back in the gym just later this week, he needs a nap first. Most of these Olympians had qualifying rounds in the weeks before the Winter Games, so they haven't been home since early January. And big congratulations to all our athletes coming home and representing Utah and USA in the Olympic Games. Love to see all those athletes coming home. Always that homecoming, you can't beat it at the airport.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that they're coming home to at least some active weather here. We know that winter has been very weird here, and at least we're getting a nice little fresh coat of snow on our northern mountains today. 53 degrees in Salt Lake, 37 degrees in Logan right now, 41 in Provo, and 40 degrees in St. George. Kind of more thin, high-level clouds across southern Utah, so they'll have a mostly sunny day. Further north you go, you kind of get an increase in cloud coverage, so partly cloudy. And then, of course, we're dealing with valley rain and mountain snow across northern Utah. St. George, the next 7 days, upper 60s today, then low to mid 70s for the rest of their 7-day forecast with mostly sunny, partly cloudy skies. Rain showers in Cache Valley today with highs kind of approaching the low to mid 40s. For the rest of the 7-day forecast, the chance for an isolated shower tomorrow. Highs in the upper 40s Wednesday, Thursday, 54 degrees on Friday and Saturday, then staying in the low 50s at the end of the 7-day forecast. Mid 50s today for Tooele County with scattered showers developing this afternoon, becoming more widespread this evening. Mid 50s on Wednesday and drying out as the day goes on. As we head into the weekend there, temperatures also approaching that 60-degree mark. For Salt Lake County, we will be in the mid 50s. We might not see rain fully make it to the ground here until the late afternoon and the early evening. It will be light initially, then this evening and overnight it could be heavy at times. We'll keep the chance for isolated showers tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies and a high of 57. Then as we head into the weekend, just staying mild with highs in the low 60s Friday through Sunday, and perhaps our next storm Sunday into Monday.
Yeah, we love the mild weather. We could use some snow too. Thank you, Devin. Finally this morning, a Utah nonprofit is bringing together fashion and philanthropy, all for a good cause. Nonprofit group Undefeated is hosting a fashion show with all the proceeds supporting Ugandan children and mothers in need. Most refugees here in Utah actually come from East Africa. Their event will feature work from beginners to established designers, along with live musical performances, all happening at the Salt Lake Public Library this Saturday. Thanks for joining us on this segment of KSL News Now. We'll leave you with a live look at downtown Salt Lake, just waking up along with you here on this Tuesday morning. Devin's talking about the clouds. There's that chance for rain out there today. So far, so good out there in downtown Salt Lake. As always, get the free KSL Plus app to keep up on all the latest news, weather, and traffic. We'll see you back here tomorrow.